Hello, welcome to the Spiritual View.
Today we have our special guest. This is Linda. She's a medium and she is wonderful.
She's local. She's in Santa Rosa.
She's local, yeah. So she
lovely.
gifted us with her presence today, and she's going to talk with us about her background, how she got into mediumship,
Her spiritual journey.
her journey, and just have a fun conversation.
Make sure my phone's turned off.
Yeah, everybody turn your phones off. So I'm Christina.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Carlene.
Oh, the 3 C's?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, almost though. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did this start for
I'm
you?
5'6.5", 110 pounds.
Is that what
my
it says on your
story.
ID?
I never changed my driver's license, and they don't even ask me. When I go in there, and they look, and they just write it down.
Well, that's nice.
I actually don't say 110, but it's definitely not my real weight. But
That's nice.
about myself, okay, so I have a website too, www.lindagrindel.com, and it talks about me a little bit. So I'm,
I'll ask a question just to kind of get started. When did you know that you had a gift for mediumship?
okay, so that's like when I was 8 years old. My parents are atheists, but when I was 8 years old, I saw Christ, or the Christ energy, because it was a male, and the absolute love and affection and the humming in my ears because of the vibrational change. It was so profound. It was like I was white as a ghost and ice cold. And I told my mom what had just happened, and she says, "Oh, that sounds like Jesus, but Mom used to be a Catholic." And she decided she didn't believe in God. So then I noticed like I would get little things, I could feel things. But there was no spirits at the end of my bed. No one said, "Oh, follow me." Nothing like that. Then I was in Laguna Beach, and a psychic there told me, "You're really psychic. Take these cards and play with them." So I thought, okay. Well, ended up I was doing beauty shops and stuff, and I ended up taking off. I was up here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was reading for a lot of people, big elites in the San Francisco arena, and then got myself to nursing school. But I was real ego-based. I really thought it was me. I was right. I was this. I was that. Because I got Leo in me, so I got that big ass head, So I thought I was really something, and ended up kind of losing the gift. But it worked out because then I started working as a nurse, and I was at a hospital, a county facility, so I worked hard. And you couldn't be psychic and do that kind of work. And then the actual mediumship happened after I went through breast cancer. I had retired from my job. I was walking down a path with my dog. I was no breasts, no hair, and I'm negotiating with God. Why, God? Why are you going to take me? My kids are still young, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I felt like them talking to me. And they were saying, "What are you talking about, Linda? You know what death is. There's no such thing as death." And I kind of felt embarrassed for a minute. It was like, you're right. I'm so sorry. And in that humiliation, is that you or me?
That's your phone.
Oh my God.
There's like weird noises upstairs right now.
It's the way it's really windy outside, so
Oh, okay.
it's very possible it could be
My phone has never done this.
but that's not
That
the
is what was happening with my phone today. And then someone started talking. Okay.
Now watch the table levitate. So whoever they are, they said, basically, "Shame on you. Why are you doing this?" And then something happened where I gave myself up, where I said, "I am your handmaiden. You tell me, into your hands. Whatever. If you need to take me, take me." Because I have faith and belief that all this is supposed to happen for a reason. And it was from my soul, you guys. It wasn't like that kind of, like when you watch a good movie, you get all, "Oh, I'm gonna start doing this and that," and then you lose. It was like boom, and I felt the shift at that moment. And the dog and I were walking. The dog never would sit. It was like, come on, mommy, you know. that my dog sat. And as he sat, I look up and I hear a rumbling noise. I thought maybe the rangers were coming through because it was a trail. It wasn't a road. So I'm trying to move my dog to the side thinking this big booming noise is going to be. I look up in the top of the trees. Now there's no wind, but the top of the trees start moving like King Kong's coming through. And then boom, me and the dog got hit with a gust. And as soon as that gust hit me, they said, "Thy will be done." Heard it as clear as day.
Wow.
It was like someone shot me with 12 vials of epinephrine. I was so zoomed, I was like beyond, I was just so overwhelmed. So I could smell earth on my hands, like fresh earth. For 2 days, I couldn't get it off. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I didn't know how to explain what had just happened to me. It was powerful. So then I start doing a little shop out in Benicia, a little card shop. No hair, sitting there, bald as can be. I'm sitting there and I'm doing a reading. This woman's sitting there, and as I'm reading her, right through the wall came a big, tall guy with motorcycle boots and a beard and long hair, crystal blue eyes. I'll never forget his eyes. And he starts telling me how he died, how he took the bike down before he hit the truck, but how he had actually been killed and they had revived him. He told me about going to the hospital. So this woman's wailing, but I can't look at her because I'll start crying too. And she's saying, "That's my son." And then he proceeds to tell me about he was living with a gal and they had 2 kids, but he never married her. And he was sorry he didn't marry her because now he was gone on the other side. And so he's telling me the story, and he looked at me and he said, "Linda, I'm more alive now than when I had a body. Tell my mother to get over herself. Tell her to live in my honor, to stop it, like knock it off." He was almost like scolding.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
And I felt bad for her, but I kind of told her, but not looking at her, And it was so profound and so healing that I thought, oh my God, this isn't bad. Because I wasn't the type, like I said, if you told me I was going to read dead people, I'd say, oh, hell no. But it was, and then that's when it began. I opened that door
Wow.
and they started coming through.
That's amazing.
And it really helps people. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The healing. The
Yeah.
healing that it brings.
That is a story. Man.
Yeah. It is.
Mhm.
And then that sound, like,
I know, isn't that weird?
Validation.
it was.
Well, your house has energy, but I can't pick up particular energy. But
I'm kind of almost curious if my house sits on a ley line or something.
I wonder.
Because, yeah, I get some weird things happening around here.
I have other things going on this morning too, though. So.
Don't mind my house if you hear something. Just say hello.
Yeah, if you see something walking past us.
Yeah, say hello. Well, that's an amazing story, and it's pretty profound.
It's true.
Yeah, and
Can't get any clearer than that.
no,
Oh, it was so profound. And that vibrational energy was on me for 2 days.
yeah,
And listen, I've gone through chemo. I've gone through, I had Hep C working in surgery. So interferon. In fact, they gave me the interferon before I got the cancer. One of the side
So
effects
what
of
happened to the
interferon.
cancer after that shot of energy?
Oh, listen, it never came back. And it wasn't a good cancer.
So was it like a spontaneous remission?
Well, I wouldn't let them do radiation or anything. I just told them I did go through chemo though.
Yeah.
And nothing affected me. They said, oh, you're going to lose a bunch of weight. I didn't drop a pound. I asked them for my money back. I did lose from taking the boobs off because I used to be. Now I got these Barbie boobs. I'll never drown.
So she's also a stand-up comic on the side. So if you couldn't pick that up,
Well, I did that bucket list. I'm not doing it anymore.
you're not doing it anymore. Okay.
But I had the best time. I performed Tommy T's, Cobb's Comedy Club, Punchline, the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. I was just being picked up and thrown in it, and I had a good time. But comedy is very ego-based.
Yeah.
And as much as I'd love to get back in my ego, they won't let me.
So what would you say your strongest psychic senses? How do you receive information the strongest? Do you feel like you're more of a channel or a medium or an empath?
Do you see things?
I sometimes see things.
Obviously you see spirit in the physical world.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
And I was sick as a dog, and I did my channel. I was just getting that flu. And they were telling me they were showing me the black wreath on the White House. And they said, someone's going to die, someone beloved from the White House. It didn't feel horrible, and it wasn't Trump. And they said, film it, Linda, and post it. And I was like, I feel like crap. And they were like, film it and post it. And so it was like a 5-minute, I said, I'm just going to tell you.
Prediction.
I'm just going to tell you, I don't know who it is. I was even thinking John McCain or something, but I knew it was somebody that was presidential or something like that. And then Barbara Bush, right after that, within a week after that, she had gone on hospice care.
Mhm.
But they're the ones that did it.
Oh yeah, so you talk to guides a lot.
Yeah, like I'll be laying there minding my own business. Write a book. You're going to write a book. Like, oh,
Wake
God.
up, get your butt up
You
right
said you
now.
were a service, right?
Right.
So, yeah, but the readings and stuff, I have to be very careful, though. I can't read too many people. I can only do maybe 4 good readings a day.
Is that because of the energy?
I think so.
That's kind of what in talking to people that do this line of work. I mean, 4 sounds like usually the cap. I mean,
Yeah, I can take several hours and then maybe do a couple of more, but
yeah, the 4 readings in a day. Because I mean, that's exhausting work.
it's very.
Exhausting work. Even if you're not taking on people's stuff, just having to raise your vibration and meet the other soul's vibration. That's
Right.
that's powerful in itself. So to do a lot of that in a day I've done a few workshops and we work like 8 hours a day. We take like an hour for lunch or something, an hour or 2 for lunch. But we work the entire day, 2 days in a row. I'm exhausted for like the next week and a half.
I think that's, if I was to tell the youngins coming in this world, monitor yourself and be careful, because, and then, I get a lot of people begging me, what do you mean I can't get in until July? Could you please? And because I'm already booked, and I have to specify days off for me.
Well, self-care is important when you're doing it.
And I say to them, look, you want a good reading, don't you? You don't want me to squeeze you in with all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they understand. Yeah, I do want a good reading.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's very important.
Right.
That's a good way to put it.
So what do you do besides capping your readings at 4 a day for self-care? What do you have maybe any?
I protect myself.
Okay.
How do you do that?
I actually ground myself, like put my chakra right through my ass into the earth and wrap it. I know that sounds crazy. I learned that from Shirley MacLaine years ago at the Biltmore. And then I imagine a beautiful crystal white light with a beautiful kind of a magnet. What's that word? Magneta. It's a blue, but it's a dark blue.
Magenta.
That's actually the higher vibration, coming through me. And then I put whales and fish and stuff in the silver. And it works, I'm telling you.
So why whales and fish?
Because I like them.
Okay. Cool.
It's like, you're just watching. Whales are majestic,
Yeah.
Was meditation part of your development?
No,
That's interesting.
I never really couldn't meditate because my mind was always going. What I do now is breathe and just stop thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with meditation, you're busy thinking that you got to stop thinking.
Right. Right.
With what I found, what actually switched me was Eckhart Tolle. While my dad was dying, I was driving out to Menlo Park. I would listen to the New Earth.
The Power of Now.
Not the Power Now, that would put me to sleep. To the New Earth.
New Earth.
He was on Oprah with that one. Get it on audio. Listen to it. Oh my God.
Listen to books every day.
Even today, I get pieces of it and think, I don't remember hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about just 3 breaths a day. 3 deep breaths a day. Because when you breathe in, it disconnects you from your ego sense and it connects you with the higher. So what happens, he says, if you do this every day, which was what I was doing, I remember feeling like high as a kite, energized, because what it does is it changes your vibrational level. And when you change your vibrational level, you can create more of what you want. That which is likened to itself is drawn.
Right.
You can't draw in what you want unless you wear that.
Right.
So let me tell you, my life wasn't, people would say, gee, she's a nice girl, but it's a shame her life's so messed up. But after I started doing that, even after Dad died, my whole life just started to change. Things got way better.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't react like I used to. Of course, I'm older. But I'm not like I don't get hurt like I used to. I guess I'm getting out of ego. But I handle things. I get a little overwhelmed because so many people want me.
Yeah.
But I mean, that I'm also very, very honored if I can do anything to help. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a bullshit honor. It's for real. It's like, if when I hang up that phone, I'm getting fed just as much as the other person. So
You're so fun.
I am.
You are.
Yeah.
You're
Okay,
so fun.
thanks.
Full of knowledge.
Oh, thanks. So that's why they call me.
Another
I
question.
know. I'm trying to. I get so wrapped up in what she's saying, I lose all my questions.
Well,
my thoughts.
Our last video was on
Oh, there
reincarnation.
you go.
Yeah, I believe in that, but I don't do past lives, but I totally believe in it. Sometimes when I'm reading a person, I can see, like, oh my God, like a certain relationship, I know what they were before, or I see that, I heard this woman the other day, I said, you were a man in your past life. You stepped into this female body and you're kind of like, what? She goes, I always feel like that. She's not gay.
Yeah.
She's just very masculine. She has no problem saying what she feels. And, I said, yeah, girl, you was a man. But I can see stuff like that. But reincarnation, I totally believe. I really love Ruth Montgomery. Have you ever read any of her stuff? You can get it on Amazon. Oh my God. She used to be a reporter for the Washington Post, I think. And she talks about, walk-ins and reincarnation and what happens. It's really amazing. It really makes sense because we really don't get away with anything. What goes around comes around. So you don't get it this
past
time.
life regression hypnosis therapy, and I had some really intriguing questions last time about our independent beliefs about when people pass away.
Mhm.
It's, when you pick up on spirit, sometimes it feels like it was just their time. Sometimes it feels like it was like a freak accident.
Exactly.
Sometimes it feels like, it was like they wanted to pass, but they, weren't really sure, and then it happened. Or there's like different energies behind death and
Yes.
why it happens.
And because of the past life, there's a lot of relationships that have this. Some of them are the same record over and over.
Yeah.
I call them psychic bleed-throughs. There's a lot of women that I meet, and even men, that absolutely fall head over heels in love with someone, and they don't understand why, and they're not good for them.
Yeah.
Linda, I said, they're a psychic bleed-through. There's somebody that you walked the earth before, and what's your lesson this time? To walk away. And they can't believe that, because why would I have all these feelings?
Yeah.
So that's important. And the other thing with reading that's important is try not to try to interpret too much as best as you can. When you're getting information, first of all, do it in faith, knowing that the information is true. I know that sounds crazy, but if you keep tap dancing on it, you'll get confused. You have to allow them to work through you. And the only way they can work through you is being an open book. You just boom. Like I was a nurse. So I tell this story all the time, but I had a client who I'm reading her mother, the mother standing next to me, and I'm telling her, this is your mother, and I'm describing her, and she's, yes. And the mother kept saying to me, tell her I can't find my left foot. Well, I thought, being a nurse, she must have been a diabetic. So what I wanted to say to the client was your mother a diabetic? I honestly would have said that if she hadn't stopped me. She said, no, tell her I can't find my left foot. So I looked at her and I actually felt embarrassed by it. But I said, your mom wants me to tell you she can't find her left foot. And she looked at me and she said, Linda, my mother died in a plane crash and the only thing they found of her body was her left foot.
That's so crazy.
It's so awkward when you get a hit, and it's so embarrassing to share things sometimes, but it's like, if you just like have to,
important
thing, keep it going.
And let it go. After you're done reading, let it
this
go.
sounds crazy, but here it is.
I'm just going to tell you.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Weird. I don't know how it makes sense to you. But
Right.
It does.
You just have to go, even if you get a negative initially. Sometimes they might say, no, you're just adjusting your angle. You're adjusting the way you can hit them. And I've had that happen where they're like, no.
And they get later.
And then, I've even had people say that, and then they call, oh my God.
Yeah.
I had another gal that was there. Oh my God. First of all, her son came in and my head was in crushing pain. And she said he had taken a gun and blew his brains out right in front of her.
Oh.
So that happened. And I'm reading all these dead relatives. By the time I was done with her, I was glad she was gone. I was exhausted. And as soon as we were closing up, here comes this guy right through the wall did I tell you that? With black curly hair and a blue suit.
No, I didn't hear this story.
Young guy. And a big old smile. And he's like waving at him. I think, oh, another one? And I look at him and I psychically say, who are you? And he said, tell her I'm her cousin. I said, okay. And she's like, what? And I said, well, your cousin's here. He's black curly hair, blue. She goes, cousin? Like, what do you mean? So I look at him and I say, you better give me more than that. And he turned like this and I saw the Twin Towers falling. So I guess the look on my face was like, she goes, what? I said, he died in the Twin Towers? She said, that's my cousin's son. But it's still her cousin.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to tell her that he knew, he was a newlywed when he died, and he knew his wife had remarried and had 2 children and was going on with her life. He was very happy for her. But could this woman please call the mother in Manhattan, because she'd never gotten over the death of her son, and to tell her that he's fine and she needs to be alive so he can vicariously move through her. You know, when you're in mourning all the time, it's a downer over there for them. You know, it's very hard to do. You have to go through the mourning period, but you can disrupt their ability. A lot of children, a lot of times I was upset, like, why would God let little kids be lost on earth? That I don't understand that. But a lot of times it's because the parents were mourning so hard that they held them back, you see, and then the parents go and the kid's still stuck here. Eventually they go because they have free will, but still it's a tough road, you know, you have to be careful about that.
Yeah, very careful.
Yeah, like I still can't let go of Elvis.
You ever talked to Elvis?
Mm-hmm. He came through. He came through. I was reading some other guy.
Someone knew Elvis?
No, I was reading another guy whose uncle loved Elvis. And so the uncle came through. And I'm reading him and I said, oh my God, Elvis is here. I was with a group and the guy started crying out loud. Oh my God, he loved Elvis. But Elvis was like, I don't know what the big deal is. Elvis's energy isn't like, he's not famous over there. He too is going through a lot of stuff. The one who was really high energetically was George Harrison. He's vibrating at a rate that's fantastic. He really learned a lot and he's moving through. But check this out. The fires were October 8th. Mm-hmm. October 2nd, Tom Petty died. Mm-hmm. I like Tom Petty, but I never bought an album, never went to a show, never even, it's not that I didn't like his stuff. I didn't, I just didn't go there. I like Davy Jones and the Monkees. I was upset when he died, wailing. But anyway, so Tom Petty died. So I think, oh, that's sad. Is it time to?
No, finish the story.
Oh, okay. I thought, oh, that's sad. And then that next morning, he's in my face. His beautiful eyes, and he was desperate. He was pacing. He was overwhelmed. He's like, you got to get a hold of my family. I didn't know. I know people in the biz, but I didn't know anybody that worked for him. I didn't know his family. I prayed for him so hard. He clung on to me. I was like obsessed with Tom Petty. Never seen his show. Next thing you know, I'm looking up anything I can. I'm trying to understand what he needs. It feels like he was really upset about dying. It was too soon. And it feels maybe it was an accident, And so he just wanted them to know that he was sorry, because I think there was a lot of plans. There was a lot of things he was finally going to retire. He was worried about his band. A long story short, it took a while to calm him down. It took me a while to get him, because then the fires came and then it got a little better for me. But he'll come to me every once in a while. I see him as clear as day.
Can you talk to his family yet?
No, I don't know how to reach them.
That's so interesting.
And they might not believe.
Why do you think he chose you?
I don't know.
Does he live around here?
No, he lived in Malibu.
I mean, that doesn't matter, but it's just weird that he came.
He was in my face. He's younger.
Oh, I know that when that happened.
And his eyes are beautiful eyes. Yeah. I can even smell the leftover cigarette smoke on him.
Did he appear as his old self or a younger self?
Younger self.
Of course.
But he was anxiety ridden. So I don't think he had really crossed yet. That's the energy I was getting, because it's the day after he dies and he's on me. I don't know psychically if he knew. The other thing, I had done a video with my backup girl, Christina. Not Christina, Kirsten. You're Christina. I did with my backup girl, and we had been talking about George Harrison. He loved George Harrison. George was like fantastic. And I was picking him up, this and that. And I'm wondering with that video, if he was sitting at home looking at YouTubes or happened to see me do George Harrison and then boom. Because I'm not connected to George Harrison. Linda McCartney I can see real easy, but not George. George is like a master over there. He's ruling the ship.
He's on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna take well, actually, we're gonna end the video here, and then we're gonna have a second part to our video. We'll have more stories with Linda and ask her some more questions. So
About mediumship.
about mediumship. So yeah, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.